think, first of all, dreaming is one of the most beautiful things we can do as humans. It's part of the human experience, and I think it's very exciting when you have a dream that makes you excited every day in the morning to live that passion. If I cry, it's okay. If I got angry, possible. But how is that gonna help me or her? And I want to understand what is my role into this journey and my why. Why am I here? That I dedicated an open energy for Axios at their disposal anytime. They are so impactful, and now they're beyond cancer. And where did that come? It came from the Axios model. Can we help make the world better?
Speaking of Hope, Support, Heal, Season 2.
Today we have a very special guest with us. He's an international keynote speaker, a trainer, a coach, and a global entrepreneur, a very successful one at that. Kais Badran is also the CEO and the founder of the Grey Matter group of companies. In a short while, we'll ask what Grey Matter is all about. In normal circumstances, he would be the one asking the questions and leading the discussion. But today it's a little bit different. We want to hear his story. Hello, Kais.
Hi, Asma. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for committing to come and come to our podcast, actually, and we welcome you. Thanks a lot for that.
It's my pleasure. I don't know if you know that I'm a fan. I loved how you started with journalism since long time, and how you became independent, and how you're doing this amazing podcast now.
Thank you so much, Kais. But that's my story. Today, we want to listen to your story.
Sure, with pleasure.
So without further ado, we'll dive deep into the conversation.
Sure.
So tell me about you. You have, before we started this podcast, you were telling me about a lot of dreams, a lot of things you wanted to do. So many of them you achieved. So many are still in the pipeline, I'm assuming. So tell me all about that.
Sure. I think, first of all, dreaming is one of the most beautiful things we can do as humans. It's part of the human experience, and I think it's very exciting when you have a dream that makes you excited every day in the morning to live that passion. And I think part of my story that I was living my passion since I was 19. I'm 45 now.
Amazing.
So when I was 19, I realized that there's a lot of work on mindset that you can do to become a better version of yourself, or rather be more yourself, the authentic self. And I wanted to offer it to the world at that time, and I started talking on theaters about success and mindset. And things led to things, and I started working in corporate, and after that, I started a company called Grey Matter.
See, it's very inspiring for the people who are going to be watching us to listen to people who have dreams and who work towards achieving them. So I feel a little bit sorry to pull you back. I just wanted to discuss something very personal with you. So you had mentioned earlier that your mother, she beat cancer. So there was an entire journey that she went through. You and your family must have gone through it. So can you just take us through that journey as well?
Sure. The reason I wanted to speak about my story, because they're interlinked, and probably the audience is feeling the passion that I had at that moment. And there was a moment where I just started Grey Matter, and I was offered 20 countries to train. We went global from day one. And I want you to put yourself in my place. So suddenly somebody who just quit corporate, living that dream, jumping on Emirates Airlines from being blue to almost being platinum. And suddenly I come back home and I heard that actually mom was misdiagnosed for around 2 years. And suddenly it's confirmed that there is something there. At the same moment, I realized that I did one of the biggest mistakes ever. I didn't have health insurance for her. I discovered as well that I want to, in her case, the best doctor is in a very expensive private institution. And I put her there, and I was like, you know what? Do whatever is needed. But things got complicated, and suddenly I discovered that the finances that is needed to be involved is finished all my savings. At that particular moment, Asma, my partner, who I put the name of everything under my company under his name. At that particular moment, he got bankrupted, unfortunately, and every single income that was coming was gone. At that particular moment, one of my best friends came to me and said, Kais, look, my kids are gonna get kicked out of school. Can I just borrow something from you? And I was like, you know, I have nothing, bro. Listen, my mom in the hospital, I need chemotherapy, he's like, please, they're your brother's kid. And I was like, all what I have is my credit cards. He took them, used them, and disappeared. All in the same week at the same time. And something that I feel it was a bless of that moment, and this is where Axios appeared. I was like, listen, Kais, and I'm referring to a self-dialogue. I'm like, all right, you know what? If I cry, it's okay. If I got angry, possible. But how is that gonna help me or her in any way possible? And I was like, okay, let's put a plan for yourself. First thing, I was like, growth mindset. Whatever I am here, there is a meaning for it. The second thing is I want to create a strategy. I'm a researcher, so I'm like, I want to create a strategy that maximize, scientific strategy that maximize the possibility for mom to be healed. And I want to understand what is my role into this journey and my why. Why am I here? And I sat down, start writing it, prepared everything, took a few days to do my research. And I was like, now it's time for execution. There is no time to feel bad. I'm going to feel bad when it's time to feel bad, but that's not the time to feel bad. And yeah, things worked.
I think they worked only because you had the presence of mind, you had the training, you had the skills to overcome it. And I think that's what you're trying to teach to others as well. That's what you offer the training for. But that is a very difficult time, and I'm very sure any person in that condition would have gone down in the, deep pits, darkness and all that. So it impacted you. You had become the caregiver. It must have impacted your family. So you took the practical steps, but there were other things going on simultaneously. How did you all manage that? Your role as a caregiver, if you can talk a little bit about that as well.
Sure. I'm going to share my strategy, and there will be parts where I say it's mine because there are certain decisions that I don't mean to share here as the best practice, but it's the practice that worked for me. And what I wrote on the paper, I want a holistic approach. And when I say holistic, some people think holistic means go meditate or use herbs. No, I mean it from a strategic point of view. I want to look at every single part of the system that is involved in caring about my family. So here's my strategy. The first thing I focus on is belief. And each one of us has a belief, and for me it's God, but it has to be, for me, clarified that this is my belief, this is, and part of the belief is I'm going to pray for that belief. And I want to make it as part of my strategy. Some people say, well, I don't believe. Well, actually, there's no one on planet Earth who doesn't believe. Because if you said you don't believe, then that's your belief.
Yeah, true.
Pray for it. Whatever you believe. If you believe in science, then your prayer is to worship science.
Yes, exactly.
Go and follow everything you believe in. For me, it's God, and it was 100%. I knew, I did my prayers. I asked everyone that I need to get advice when on the prayer, and I looked at everything that blocks me from feeling discomfort. But when you do that, part of the belief is to trust that you did your part. Now you cannot be in a state where you're trying to control what's going to come next. That's not your role, nor the patient's role. What comes next is treating cancer as if you're treating flu. Because you've done this belief thing, just leave it on the side. keep the prayer, and now let's focus on a practical, scientifically proven way to maximize the possibility of healing. In my view, find a doctor that you trust, find a second opinion that you trust, and follow them fully. Not YouTube, not WhatsApp, no videos. Follow them as they say. And
I think that's a very, very, very important tip, because now we have everything on our fingertips, and even for the smallest needle prick or anything, we just Google and find solutions for ourselves. So yeah, that's a very good advice.
Some people, like, for me, those people will never risk their reputation and the amount of work they've done to give you an advice that is not super grounded. So I found a doctor that I trust 100%. I found a second opinion that I trust 100%. And we looked at the situation and we start talking science. So what is the possibility? What is the best? And I start to compare ideas between them. Didn't look to the internet. And I was like, okay, listen, this is the strategy that we're going to do. I have my belief, which is, okay, like, this is my belief now I've done my science. The third step is I start to look to what can help the science work better. And I found that there's overall well-being element which reflect on the following: consistency of taking the medicine, openness to take the medicine, being patient to express, and being in a good state as a patient. And to do that, plus nutrition. It happened to me today. I was giving a lecture on mindfulness. And one of the gentlemen said, they did a test on cancer, and they found that people who are sad had less healing than the people who are happy. And I was like, can you share that resource with me? And he's like, yeah, it was on all over the internet. I was like, share with me that study. Because no, science would work whether you're sad or not. It helps. The well-being side helps because it makes the patient, in my case, my family member, more open, accurate in expression, being able to see things better, makes my role better, makes everyone's role better, and the whole journey will be good. So we worked on nutrition, and I went to somebody from the institution, not somebody who is a freelancer. I start to work on the well-being, so it's my expertise. So I start talking to mom, being there for her, and then we just followed that route. And there were huge downs, but there were ups and huge downs and ups. And at the end, we got a cure. And then you continue the diagnosis and the look of. So this is in a nutshell my strategy. And
I think you created a positive mindset. I know what you mean when you say about that study. But yes, a positive mindset kind of manifests, It's like you want to heal. You're positive about it. So somewhere or the other, your body also wants to do what your mind is pushing it to do. So how is your mother now?
She's okay, but after by age and after cancer, it's always, you need to always be taking care of everything.
Yeah. So again, were there obstacles in this journey of yours? I know you have planned it. There was an entire strategy you put in. But like you said, it's like everything, something might work, other things might not work. So you are an expert in human development and all that. So how did you, overcome these obstacles? Or maybe can you just kind of give an advice to our viewers? If they do face obstacles, such kind of obstacles in the way, what should the approach be? What should they do?
Yeah, I think the first approach, and it's easier said than done, but I really worked on it, and it gave me a bit of resilience, that it's not my role to sympathize in terms of internalizing the pain of someone else, including my mom. but to empathize by putting myself in her place and understanding what's going on and help her through her journey. The first step, I think, as a caregiver is not to internalize what's going around you, because you have your own journey, you have your own moments. And the best thing you need to do is to take care of this as a caregiver, because when they see you strong, they get strong as well. Then you want your well-being to be okay for the future, because that helps you stay away from disease. So you need to take care of this. Then when I am with looking at the people I care about, I involve them in the decisions. I feel transparent. I try not to worry if they're crying or they're sad. That's their moment. I just hold a space for them, and I hold it with no reaction, just being there fully, without internalizing, without reaction. Because when we give reaction, we lead the whole experience for them. And that allows them to be, and once those emotions get out, they're out. But the more we entertain those emotions, which it's human nature, and it's okay to have emotions, of course, but to entertain it and offer it coffee and tea until it come back, a person might turn from being a patient to being a victim, or to being somebody who's angry about life. And I think my role was to keep the whole scenario safe for everyone, so she can continue focusing on what she needs to focus, which is the healing.
So this is the same approach you would advise to other people, or is it based on their circumstances, their situation?
That's an advice that came. That's the strategy I did for myself in my paradigm with my input. So every one of us is different, but science proves it. So if you read about mindfulness, if you read about other techniques of human development, or even ask basic questions. So if you, as a caregiver, and someone else is sad, and you're sadder than them, or you're sad as well, how are you going to get the energy to come back again and again and again? Where would you get the innovation? So what I did actually to get money back is to ask for solutions. And this is where I got introduced to Axios. But imagine if I just sat like this. Oh my God, my best friend took my money? Really? My partner? Like, why not? Like, why ever? If I spend time there, which I did because my human nature needed to feel sad, but for a few hours, I needed actually a few days. And I trusted that I needed those days of feeling this anger and sadness, and I couldn't change anything, and I didn't want. But then after that, I was like, okay, now we're here. Let's look, how can I benefit myself to benefit my mom the best way possible? This is where the idea started to come.
So exactly, it's like that example of wear the oxygen mask
Absolutely.
Absolutely. For yourself, before you're able to help others.
Absolutely.
How did you come across Axios, and how did it make a difference?
So I went to Axios with scared. And if you imagine when you position yourself, and that's, I think, comes with wisdom, that you shouldn't do that. But if you position yourself as somebody, successful, and you're a CEO and all this stuff, which you discovered that should not be, it's something that you do, it's parts of the journey, but it's not who you are. You are a human living that journey, and those positions are meaningful, but it's not the whole meaning. But I went with my ego hurt. I was so scared. I'm like, I'm asking for charity. What's going to happen? And my goodness, I met Dr. Anas at that time. And he didn't talk about the situation. He came to me and he's like, tell me about your business. How's it going? And he spoke to me like with dignity, with respect. But this respect, and then he facilitated my first experience to go to a charity. On parallel, I start to speak to many charities explaining the situation, and charities really, really helped me a lot. And I was like, there was a moment where I was like, how come, but how? And when you wait in line in charity spaces, I start to doubt, like, do I deserve it? Like, look at this case that is worse than me. But they all treated me very, very well, treated us very, very well. And they helped accurately. They helped exactly what I need. And they trusted that I can generate the parts that I can generate. So it was really amazing that I dedicated an open energy for Axios at their disposal anytime. They are so impactful. And now they're beyond cancer.
Yeah.
They are so impactful. You see stories there and mindset change and life change that I am happy to do anything to support Axios. Where did that come? It came from the Axios model.
Oh, okay.
Can we help make the world better? Honestly, all of this, it was inspired by Axios. So
that's
I'm ever
really
grateful.
That's really amazing to hear. And so I'm just going to come back to our last question. Our podcast, the name of our podcast is Speaking of Hope, Support, Heal. So in your opinion, how important is it to speak about hope and support? Healing is a bit scientific, but in your opinion, what do you think about hope and support?
I think hope is everything, and I really mean it. When you're passionate and inspired and following a dream, you have hope, life continues, or life wouldn't be there without hope. People is hoping to do something better every day. So definitely hope. But to take it as well to the journey of a patient or a caregiver, I hope there was no second in this podcast that my story came across as a tough story, because my story is okay, average. You meet people that really, really, really are living crisis. They really need help. Somebody who has low income, fully no awareness of healing methods, and there's no network. I had the network of people that I tapped into. So for them, Axios is hope, because Axios is access to what takes them to what possible healing could be. And absolutely, I mean, hope is everything in my view.
Right. So just as we wind up, is there any message you would like to give? Is there any advice you would like to give to our viewers so that they can take it forward from here?
I think my invitation rather than advice is to trust the whole process, to trust Axios for sure, and to speak. It's very important to speak up, because we are all here to support you. We are, as humans, here to support each other. But Axios has the possibility to help you grow into whatever you're facing. Not only cancer, but all the other chronic illnesses that you're working with. And you can imagine with MS or other situation
there
where
are a lot of rare diseases as well, a lot of cancer cases like you mentioned.
So speak up, talk, connect, and inspire others as well.
That's true. Well, let's hope that's what we have done for our short discussion that we had here. It's inspiring, just to listen to the words. So it's not easy. I know you said yours is not a very hard story, but I think from my view, and it's a personal view, it was a very tough place to be. And you coming out of that, it was not easy. So yours is a story that needs to be told. And I'm very sure the way you tackled it, I hope it inspires others as well.
I really believe that, and it's a belief, that you get tested with your ability.
True.
So everything comes to you with your ability. And I think it was a stretch for me, but it was within what we can do, or within what I didn't know, but I discovered that I can do. Something I forgot to say. keep checking up. Keep it, don't shy from it, and don't go like, I'm just going to do a blood check just to tick the box. No, if you're above certain age, go do all your checks. Colonoscopy, difficult, but do it. Prostate check, I know, difficult, but do it. Breast cancer check, do it. Don't wait till it's in an advanced stage. Keep it as like a habit. Every year I'm going to do this.
That's a very solid advice, and I hope people do listen and follow it. So thank you so much, Kais.
My
it was
pleasure.
a wonderful discussion and conversation, and we are really happy to have you here. Thanks again for taking out the time for us.
Thank you. It's my honor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Axios, transforming access to healthcare.